Okay, so I wanted to do this call specifically. I wanted to do it last month, but I wanted to do it for directors and above first. So this is going to be all about how I pull reports, what I look for in leaders, and how I pull numbers from my performance tab on and know how to identify leaders. So a lot of people asked for this call. I would take a sheet of paper if you have a sheet of paper out. So you can take notes. This is going to be very, very beneficial for you to add to the third leg of your business, the leadership leg of your business. And I pass it to you, Ray.
All right. Will you spotlight me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah,
make you host or spotlight for everyone.
Spotlight. Okay, perfect. All right, hey guys. So I'm super excited to talk with you guys today. I'm gonna try to keep it really short and sweet to the point, and then I'll pass it back to Katie so she can actually pull up our reporting tab on the workstation. So if you guys have your computer too, you guys can pull up yours to follow along with us once I'm done talking for a little bit, okay? So basically what we're talking about tonight is pulling reports, who to work with based off those reports, and then rebuilding, okay? And I'm going to kind of talk about rebuilding first. The team that gets you to director, or the team that gets you to lead, star, superstar, star director, SSD, whatever title you are at, that team most likely isn't going to be the same team that helps you continue to get paid a title even after you hit that promotion. Okay, that is super important to know and to accept. I'm not saying everybody is going to fall off, but people come and go in this business. If you haven't already experienced it, people are going to join. They're going to be on fire for however long they're on fire. And then something might dull their spark and they're going to leave, or they are going to, will you mute everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all make sure you're muted, okay? They're either going to leave, or maybe something happened in their life, right? Some type of circumstance that happened in their life, and they have to take a step back from Cincy. They're not able to put all the focus that they originally had in their business, and that's totally okay too. So that is why we are constantly talking about rebuilding, right? The same way that you have to rebuild your customer base when you're recruiting your customers is the same way that you have to rebuild your team, okay? And we start with our front line. That is where recruiting comes into play, right? You're recruiting, you're rebuilding your team, okay? And then you teach your teamies to do the same, okay? So you're constantly rebuilding. I'll take a look at the chat after I'm done talking so I don't get off topic because we are on a time crunch. So you're always wanting to grow your front line. You always want to offer the business opportunity, okay? If you're here on this training, I'm assuming you want to grow, because otherwise you wouldn't be interested in learning how to run reports. So there is power in numbers, okay? Not everybody is going to treat this business like a business, okay? There are people who are going to come and they're just going to be hobbyists, but guess what? We need the hobbyist, okay? The hobbyists still help pull in those numbers. So even though it's amazing to have a rock star, what we call them, or whatever you want to call them, I call them rock stars, people that come in and they hit the ground running, and they're like, they see the potential, they are like running full force, and they have their blinders on, and they're willing to soak up everything. They want to learn everything. They want to put everything into action. They're willing to get uncomfortable, but the hobbyists are just as important, okay? So hobbyists, they might only put in their 200 every, 2 months or so, 3 months, 6 months. Right now, they can literally put in 200 out of an entire 12-month period, okay? But there's power in numbers, and that includes the hobbyists, okay? So one thing I want to talk about, your business always comes first. So make sure whatever your personal business goals, your PRV goals, your recruiting number for that month, whatever your goals are, make sure that you are focusing on your business first before you go in and you're running reports to pull people to work personally with them and to coach them, okay? I know Katie and I kind of work very similar in that sense of the very first week of the month, it's for our businesses, like our personal business. We are trying to hit our 500 within the first couple of days. Excuse me. We are trying to get our 500 in. So we are not worried about, hitting the minimum leadership numbers. And then on top of that, we're trying to recruit people. We're trying to have our parties booked, have our parties running smoothly before we even think about going in to run reports for that month to see who we can work with. Okay. So tell me in the chat, how do you guys work your business? Do you guys kind of work it similar where the first week of the month is solely for your business? Y'all tell me in the chat. Okay. Katie will show you how to actually run the reports. But it's super important that even though you are growing your frontline, right? Even though you are growing your personal frontline, you're still going to, when you pull these reports, you're going to be able to see everybody in your entire downline. Okay. So whether your frontline sponsors someone, you're going to be able to see those people's numbers. Everybody underneath of you, you will be able to see their numbers. You'll be able to see their PRV, you'll be able to see their TWV, their GWV, how many people they recruit, what their recruits are doing, and all of that, okay? It's super important to not just look at your front line. Make sure you're looking at your downline too, okay? And the more you grow, it's gonna get overwhelming, but you don't have to work with everybody, guys, and you don't have to work with the same people every month, okay? So I would start off small. If you are just getting into coaching, keep it simple, okay? So I would pick, if you're just getting into coaching, I would first look at your front line, okay? How many front line based off numbers and based off of work ethic, based off the people that are showing up, who is number one, willing to work, willing to get uncomfortable, showing up, putting in the effort, but also who has the numbers, okay? Sometimes it's easy for others to have all the numbers and to have, we call them top producers. Sometimes it's easy for people to get the numbers, but they're not interested in working with you. That's totally okay. Respect that decision, okay? Because as a leader, as a mentor, your job is to offer your mentorship, okay? It's not your job to make them accept that offer. It is your job to offer it. It is their job to accept it. If you offer it to someone who you see is literally kicking ass and they aren't interested, move on. Don't take it personal either, okay? Some people don't need mentorship. Maybe that's not the right word. Some people don't want help. They don't want their hand to be held. They can keep themselves on track, while other people like that mentorship. They want not necessarily their hand to be held, but they want challenges. Okay. They want challenges and they want more. So respect the decision, whether they're going to offer, whether they are going to accept your offer or decline your offer or not even respond to your message about working with them. Respect that. Okay. So work with your front line and your downline, but I will suggest you start, especially if you're just now getting into it, start with your front line. Okay. Work with them first and then move into your downline. Okay. Because you never know. And the importance of working with your downline is you never know if some of your front line might fall off eventually, possibly, you never know. And then your downline could roll up to you and now you are their mentor, which makes it so much easier and even way more comfortable because you guys already built that relationship before that person even became your front line. Okay. So start small, give yourself a goal. If you have a team of 3 people right now, I would have yourself a goal of coaching one person a month. Okay. One person a month. Once you have that down, add another person a month. Look at your schedule, reassess, figure out what works for you and go from there. Okay. But all you can do as a leader is offer. It's up to the other person who you're offering to accept that offer. Okay. So that's all I have to say. And Katie's going to take it over and run some reports with us.
All right. How to make myself a spotlight, right? Okay. All right. So when I show you guys my screen, my reporting screen, I have names and consultants IDs taken off of that. I'm going to kind of walk you through how to do it. But I can't physically do it because it's going to show people's names and I cannot show people's names. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. So make sure you guys can see it. And just nod your head if you guys can see my screen. Okay. Remember, I'm new to this. So, okay. You guys can see my screen. So these are January numbers. So I'm going to say a lot as I speak. This is what I do. Take it with a grain of salt. You do what works for your business. I have not always been great at this. I'm still not great at this. It just depends on what's going on in my personal life. You're going to go to your reporting tab, and then you're going to see on the side where it says start downline report. You're going to click this. So normally what I start with is PRV. I always start with PRV. Now, if you have a director under you, you're going to see right here, this tab that says group, there's going to be a drop down that says team. You're going to want to hit team because you're going to want to start with everybody that you are their director. That's only if you have a director underneath of you. For the sake of this video, I'm going to stick with group because I can't go back and forth too much because it's going to start me all over and I'll have to go back and delete names. Normally what I do the first week of the month is I run reports for the previous month. So I want to see, I always start with PRV. PRV is the first leg. PRV is sales. This is my personal preference. I don't think anybody should be sponsoring if you can barely get to 500 PRV. Why? You can't get paid at title and you cannot promote. So I always start with PRV first. So what you'll do, you see these little arrows right here? You can ascend everybody that has top PRV first. So that's where I start. I start with PRV. Then I move into recruits. And you're going to see you can, and I'm going to tell you guys an easier way to do this, but for the sake of this video and how I do it, this is how I do it. Go to recruits, same thing. I want to see everybody that recruited that month. And then I want to see TWV. What is their TWV? TWV is going to tell me how close are they to promoting. You know, there's new people. When I ran my report yesterday, look at this girl right here. She's a certified consultant. She's got 3,500 PRV. What does she need to do? She needs to recruit. So when I ask questions, just put them in the chat. Even if I can't read the chat, Ray can see the chat. When I look at this report from my team and I see this, I'm like, wow, somebody needs to work with her and talk to her about flipping that PRV and recruit because she can promote to lead. So I look at PRV first, then recruiting, and then TWV. You'll see a lot of, we have some PRV slayers in this group. Look at this girl. She went from essential to certified. She's got almost 3,000 PRV. Somebody needs to talk to her about sponsoring and getting a system in place early and how to have sponsoring conversations. So looking at numbers, this is how I do it. Again, it depends on my month. In the fall, like November and December, I don't work with anybody. I'm not going to say slower seasons, but there are months like this month, I'm on fire to work with people. So I pick 5 people a month. They're always different people. And I'm going to share with you in the next section how different ways you can work with them. Don't let this overwhelm you. So literally, I write a list of 10 people, 5 frontline. Start with your frontline first. If you don't have frontline that are on fire for their business, and you will, you're going to go through spurts in your business where you don't have frontline that are hungry. They want to be a hobbyist. Let them be a hobbyist. What does that tell you you need to do? You need to recruit. You need to recruit. When you look at your numbers and say, oh, wow, my frontline, they're barely getting active. And when I message them, they don't respond. You need a sponsor. Then move into your downline. Downline, like Ray said, downline can jump your frontline. I actually have 4 directors that were not my frontline directors. They jumped. And they jumped because I worked with them early on in their business because their frontline didn't care. They were hobbyists. They weren't hungry for this business. I pulled their numbers and worked with them and was consistently working with them, that they ended up jumping there, frontline. So this is how I do, this is how I start. I start with PRV. You ascend the columns. It's literally that easy. You can do arrows. But here, if you want specific things, if you want to know, I'm gonna click it in a minute after. Just nod your head if you're done with this screen right here. You guys don't need to see this thing. So the arrow button right here, on all the, there's a one on every tab you can ascend. You can find out how much active frontline they have, team number, all the things. On the side, you're going to see sensational start and shooting star. Sensational start is very important for me, for my team specifically. I want to know, even if they're not my frontline, I want to know if somebody in my team hit sensational start level 3, because that's a huge accomplishment. I only earned level 1, sensational start level 1. But if somebody earns sensational start level 3, I want to work with them early before they burn out. I want to help them get systems and things in their business in place to help them early on in their business. So sensational starts very important to me. Shooting star is very important to me. These are all in your tabs. I used to do saved reports. I stopped that. I stopped doing saved reports because it was I'm not technology savvy. It's easier for me to go to my performance tab, pick the first 5 people. But here, if you are very specific, or if you have a larger group, and I have a large group, so sometimes like the first 5 people are the same 5 people that are always the same 5 people. I don't work with the same people every single month. I just don't. I don't have that type of time. I'm going to share with you different ways I do work with people. But this is a way, if you have a larger group, or if you want specific information, go to additional filters. You can put in specific, I'm not going to run a report because it's going to start my report over and it's going to show names and consultant IDs. But say you want to know everybody on your team that.
Katie, you can actually do it. I just tried it and it will keep the name and the ID out.
Okay, perfect. All right. Say you want to know everybody on your team that had 2000 PRV. Say you want to know that. So you can do a min and a max and then hit run report. You can do the same thing with active frontline. Say you are somebody that wants to promote to director and you have a rock star under you and you want to keep up with their promotion, or you're a director and you want to see who in your group is close to promoting to director. You can put TWV of 6,000 to 8,000. GWV, you have to have 10,000 for a director. This is going to make your report very, very, very specific. So I start with 2,000 to 15,000, but that's just because we have a lot of high PRVers in our group, which PRV is great. But longevity wise, you have to have PRV to grow a customer base. Correct. You do. Consistently high PRV is a good indication that you have a very growing, prosperous business. PRV is great. But longevity wise, recruiting and teaching those people how to run a successful business is what's going to make you a paycheck. That's what's going to bring you a paycheck in. So PRV is great. I'm just going to set it like this. You may want to start lower. You may want to say, okay, my group they're not high PRVers. So I want to see who has between 5 and 1,000 PRV. You can set this to whatever you want. So this is everybody that had over 2,000 PRV in the month of January. So look at all these people. This is crazy. They're lunatics. They're wax slinging lunatics. So how many people in my stewardship? This isn't raised. This is going to show everybody in our entire group. So 61 people had over 2,000 PRV. 61. So out of these 61, I can't work with 61 people. You can't do that. You're going to be very selective. You're going to look at active frontline. How many people did they recruit? Look at their TWV. Now, this is the important part. And this is where most people drop the buck, including myself. I did it for years and years. How do you work with people once you find them? Finding them is easy. Don't overcomplicate this. Go to your performance tab and just look at their performance. Don't overcomplicate it. It's not complicated, but the how is where people most drop the buck, because everybody's like, oh my God, I don't want to do calls. That overwhelms me. Listen, I used to do all the things and now I do what's best for my business and in my life. This week, my kids are sick. I'm not working with anybody this week. I ain't doing it. I'm not stressing myself out over the leadership leg because I do show up consistently on my team page and leadership page. So I always base on how I want to work with people based on what my business looks like and what my life looks like. And that's what leadership should be. You should not be stretching yourself thin for anybody in your team or in your group to work with them. But here are a couple ways that you can work with them. You can do a call if you like calls. I don't want to get on the phone with anybody. I do not. I used to do text coaching forms. I didn't do them because I don't do them anymore because it overwhelmed a lot of people when I sent that form out. They were like, whoa, she wants to know all my business. This is what I want to know. I want to know what you want out of this business. And I want to know how much money you want to make. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. And then I want to know what your biggest struggle was in your business. So here are some ways that you can work with them. You can text coach is what I primarily do. And I don't like calling it text coaching. This is what I say to when I pull these numbers. When I start texting these people, I say, girl, you killed it last month. I am so proud of you. Can I work with you this week? Would you like to work with me this week? I don't tell them, do you want me to mentor you? Do you want me to coach you? You want to do a form? I don't do it. Do you want to work with me? What is your goal? And if they say, well, my goal this month is to hit 2,000 PRV, I'm going to say, well, how many parties do you have booked? None. Okay. Your goal for this week is to book 4 parties. I always do these on Mondays because Mondays works better for me. I'll say, your goal is to book 4 parties. I want you to message me on Friday and let me know when you complete it so I can cheer you on. I want you to text me and let me know how you did it. Or if I have somebody that says, look, my PRV is great. And I do have a lot of leaders say, I want a challenge this week. And I'm like, what's your challenge? I want more PRV. And I look at their PRV. I'm like, you got 5,000 PRV. No, that's not your challenge for this week. Your challenge is you're going to sponsor somebody or you're going to work with 2 of your up and coming leaders, kind of redirecting them. So I give them something called mini challenges. One thing, I don't give anybody more than 1 task until they complete the first task and then tell me they want another challenge. The ball's in their court. I'm not following up with anybody that I text work with. They can follow up with me. If they don't follow up with me, that's on them, but that's accountability. I give them the challenge and I always say, I'm going to do it with you because it makes me work with them. And I'm going to come back to that in just a second. It makes me work with them. So I want them to screenshot their conversations so I can check for lingo if they're getting a lot of no's and kind of give them tips. That comes with relationship building. That comes off of a team page. Okay. Leadership is off of a team page. Your leadership page is important. Yes. But your leadership, people are going to want to learn from you and come to you if you're building a relationship off of a team page. Your shout outs. You're doing shout outs on a team page this month, do them through text because you're building a relationship, a personal relationship. So then next month, when you say, I want to work with you, they're going to say, yeah. Because you're not a stranger to them. You're not a stranger anymore. Okay. You have an open door. So I do a lot of mini challenges. I usually pick 5 people a week to do these. This year I picked three people in my team that I know are going to be my next directors. And I put them in a group chat with each other. I'm in there too, but I'm only in there because I'm just in there to give them an accountability partner. What that's done is one of them promoted last month. Both of them got paid at title. One of them was about to quit and is now on fire for her business. And all 3 of them have gone to World Tour last weekend. And they are on fire. And they are giving each other all the ideas. So I group them in a group chat with each other. That's an idea. You can do calls. If you want to do calls, I don't do calls. Team meetings for connection. Team, how are you connecting with your team? Not necessarily a Zoom live video. How are you showing up for your team consistently that they're going to want to come to you to get advice? Focus on one. Ray said this when she opened up. One person first. Every time we talk about leading or working one-on-one, people are like, I'm going to work with 10 people this month. You're not going to be effective focusing on everybody. You can't focus on everybody. You're not going to be effective. Pick one person and then pick 2 people and then pick 3 people. You don't have to have it all together to work with your people, but what you do have to do, and this is very important, you have to be working your business before you work with anybody. Because if they're struggling and they tell you I'm struggling in my business, you can't relate to that because you're not working. If they're saying I'm trying to book parties this month, but nobody wants to book parties, you can't say, yeah, me too, because you're not trying to get parties booked. You're not going to be able to give tangible advice where people are going to want to listen because you're not working first. You have to work first as the leader. That's where you're going to get, that is where you're going to get, what was I about to say? I was about to mess my words all up. That's where you are going to get experience. You're going to get experience when you fail, when you don't get parties booked, when you have 100 sponsoring conversations and they all say no. That's where you're going to get experience. And that's where you're going to build trust with your team. You have to work first. So you can give tips and ideas and you can pour into these people. You have to do it first. Text coaching, mini challenges. The mini challenges are gold. If anything in my business in the last year that I've done that for almost a year now, doing the mini challenges. That's been a game changer in my leadership, was the mini challenges on Mondays. I use the Hit 'em Up app and I send a text to everybody that opted in. And then depending on how they message me back, that's when I'll message them individually, depending on how they message me. If I say, are you up for a challenge? Or if I pull numbers that week and I'm like, okay, she's killing it, I'm going to message her. Are you up for a challenge? And what the mini challenge does when they complete it, it boosts confidence. My role as their leader is to show them that many habits done consistently will grow their business. So if I teach them that booking those 4 parties is going to get them to 2,000 PRV next month, I don't need to work with them because they learned that month that their effort, there was a result from their effort. Their results matched their effort. So my hope from doing mini challenges and what's been the game changer for my people that I work with, they're seeing the result of, okay, your challenge is to have a sponsoring conversation every day till Friday. Let me know how it goes. And then they're sponsoring and they're saying, oh, if I have a conversation, I can sponsor. Teaching them tiny, tiny, tangible things that when they do it, they see the result from it. That's been the game changer. So don't focus on everybody, focus on 1, then focus on 2, then focus on 3. No more than 5 people a month. There, no more than 5 people a month. Your business first. Do y'all have any questions? It's 8:30. Do y'all have any questions? I know that was super fast. Let me take this off screen share real quick.
Whitney has a question.
Whitney does. Hey, Whitney.
At what point do you stop learning or being challenged as a leader yourself?
Oh, say it again.
At what point as a leader do you stop challenging yourself?
Never. My goal every single month is to shock myself. My personal goal as a leader is to shock myself. So if I set a goal and I hit it, I want to excel it. That is self-development. That nobody should settle for minimum. Unless you want a minimum business. If you want a minimum business, do your 500, boo. Do your 500. But if you want a minimum business, do the minimum. But if you have big dreams, and I want you to put it in the comments. Comment, you guys up here, what is your big dream? If money was no option, if time was no option, what's your biggest dream? Because at the end of the day, I said this in the group chat a while ago, I don't like working with, I've never coached with anybody. I don't want to be coached. I know what to do. I just have to have the time to do it. I just need the time to do it, but I make the time to do it. Nobody can push you to do anything that you don't want to do. This business is a simple one. That's why I showed you where I had save reports. It complicated me. I'm not doing that ever again. Simple. And y'all can SSD by 2024. Sylvia, that's about to happen this year. So just change that 4 to 3. Go ahead and change that 4 to 3. Not worry about looking at my bank account. That was my dream. Nikki. My dream was not having to log into my bank account before I went grocery shopping. Financial security. It can happen, y'all. It can happen. Please, please stop counting yourself out. This business is a simple one. It's been very overcomplicated. You work your business, do some follow-ups, book some parties, be consistent on social media, have some sponsoring conversations, and then show your team how you're doing it. This business is a simple one. This business is a simple one. It's been overcomplicated. Me and Ray joined a few months right after I joined. We didn't have all this stuff, this crap. We didn't have all this stuff to look at.
I didn't know how to pull reports for the longest time. I had no idea.
I had a sticky note. You know how I used to coach with people when they would text me and they say, Katie, what should I do? I'm like, I don't know, just go book some parties, like ask some people to party. I had ran my business off sticky notes. It's overcomplicated, y'all. This business is not hard. Book a party tomorrow. Have a sponsoring conversation tomorrow. Screenshot that crap and then share it with your team so they can see your wording. Okay? It's not, This has been overcomplicated. And it's not a difficult business.
And Katie, I know Katie said that she doesn't like saved reports. I personally love them because they are already filtered out for what exactly I'm looking for. So all you do for the saved reports, if that's something that you would like to do, is do exactly what Katie showed you, is use the filter options. Okay. And then all you have to do, once you have all the filter options in and you run the report, then there is a, hold on, let me turn my camera. Y'all are looking at my screen. This right here says saved report. All you have to do is click that, and then you can name it whatever you want. Okay. So if that's something that you want, Katie doesn't like it, I personally love it. So, and then you'll see the saved report over on the left side of your screen. Okay. So like, for example, every month I can go, these are all my saved reports. I have a ton, but every month I can come over here and I can click on potential directors, well, potential lead consultants, right? Well, I don't have any right now because it's the second of the month, but for January, I had like a whole page of them. Okay. So if you want to save them, save them. If you want to just do what Katie does and click through them, that's literally the same thing. It's just a different way.
I was trying to spotlight you.
Oh.
I was trying to.
You want to ask Whitney or Anya if they have anything to add that they do for reports?
Is Anya up here?
She was.
Who's Anya? Do y'all want Whitney? Anya does? Let me find her. Anya, you look like a whole meal in your picture. How do I spotlight her? Make host.
Wait, did she said she had something to say?
Oh, I don't know. Did she?
Anya, I guess you have to say something now.
Her video is not even on, Ray. So how did you know she was on?
No. I was asking if they did have anything to say.
Oh, my bad. My bad, Anya. I was just putting you on the spot.
I guess not. Whitney knows.
Easy, y'all. Just remember, these are people.
Yeah.
These are
Super
people.
easy.
When you're pulling your performance tab, they're people. Talk to them. Can you hear me? Talk to them like they're people. Okay? Yes, you're seeing their numbers, but they're with a servant's heart. Leadership is a servanthood. With a servant's heart, go to your performance tab, save their number to your phone, and text them. Do you need anything? Is there anything I can do for you? Do you need ideas? And I can promise you, 90% of the people I text, they say, I'm just overwhelmed. Do you have any tips for that? I do. I have a beautiful label system. Edit it. I edit it, or pick one thing a day that you want to accomplish and write it down and then check it off when you accomplish it. Sometimes that's all people need, y'all. But leadership is a servanthood. Your team is there for you. And Ray said this at the beginning, the same team that got you where you're at are not the same team that's going to stay. But if you start working with them early on, you're going to prevent a lot of people from burning out, and you're going to make people feel supported. And when people feel supported, they don't want to leave or quit. When people feel like somebody has their back or somebody cares about them, they want to stay. They want to stay. So do it. They're people. They're people. Just talk to them like people. You ain't got to do fancy forms to work with folks. You ain't got to do crazy stuff. You ain't got to schedule calls. You ain't got to do all that. Text them. What do you want to make happen in your business this month? Do you want to work with me? Do you want some tips? Do you want some ideas? That's it.
Yep.
That is it.
Yep.
Yep. Sarah is one of the people. So Sarah Pierce is coming. She's one of the people in the group chat, y'all. I didn't know her from Adam. She found me on my business page. The other two people that she's in there with, one of them's my front line, but one of them is my downline. One of them's my downline. Her front line didn't want this business, and I started working with this girl last year. And she's going to be a director this year. Not because of anything I did. Not because of anything I did. Don't get it twisted. She's not going to hit director because of me. She's going to hit director because she got support and guidance and implemented that into her business. And had I not intervened with that, like when her sponsor quit, she was going to quit right when her sponsor quit, and she was a star consultant. You got to catch people, man. You got to catch them. You have any questions? Stop recording.
Katie, a lot of people are asking for the label system. So, and I think Brittany is in Whitney's group, I believe, right? Maybe Brittany. Yeah. So we'll share that link with y'all's group so you guys have access to it too if it's not already in there.
And look, edit it. You're going to see a lot of stuff in there that's not going to apply to you. Don't let that overwhelm you. I work from home. I do this full time. So like 4 out of those things every single day you can take out. You don't need to be focusing on stuff that I am doing or Ray's doing or Whitney's doing if you are a lead consultant. You should not be doing things that we are doing. Yes, implement and work with people, take our advice, but you should be working your personal business first.
Oh, Katie, Nikki had a good one. She said, what mini challenge are we leaving with? What kind of homework can we give these people?
I want you to pull your reporting tab up tonight or tomorrow, because I know it's kind of late. Your task is to pick 5 people that you want to work with this month. I don't want to see their names out of respect for them. Well, you could put initials, do initials, and I want you to post it to your leadership, whoever your director is up here, superstar director, their leadership page, and say, these are the 5 people I'm working with this month. Just initials. Just initials. These are the 5 people. But that's not it, Nikki. Okay, yes, pick your 5 people. But on the last day of the month, I want to know how you worked with them. I want to know how you worked with them. Frontline or downline. Start with frontline first. If you don't have performing frontline, move to your downline. Look, I don't always have performing frontline. I'm going through a season of rebuilding right now. So I got a sponsor to find some rock stars. So I'm working with my downline right now.
And if you have a smaller team or group, then just pick one person if you're just starting off. And if you don't have one person, Katie just said it. Your mini challenge is to go and sponsor someone and train that person.
That's all of y'all's other challenge. That ain't a mini challenge. That's a big challenge for the whole month. You should at least sponsor one person this month with this joint.
Perfect timing. Number one,
that needs to be
get you that much closer to the incentive. But number 2, also, like, you're growing your team. Longevity, exactly what Katie said earlier in the call. But the joint kit this month, y'all, them 10 bars of wax, that should sell someone right there off the bat.
Comment how I want to know your team. Yeah, I want to know your team sizes in the group, because here's the power of numbers. Let's just say it's just me and Ray on the same team, and I sponsor somebody, Ray sponsors. That's 4 people. What if we teach those other 2 people to sponsor? That's 8 people. What if we teach all those people to sponsor one person? That's 16 people. I hit director with 16 people on my team. There's powers in numbers. Keep killing yourselves over some high PRV. I'm one to talk, but I'm trying to sponsor you. I'm trying to find them. PRV is great. PRV is great, but you can't get anywhere in life by yourself. You can't get to any promotion by yourself. You can't get to any annual mentor by yourself. You can't get anywhere in life by yourself. Nowhere. So that's all y'all's challenge, to sponsor one person. And then screenshot it and share that with your team, how you sponsor that one person. We need to start showing the way, not telling the way. We need to stop doing that. Collectively, in the entire Scentsy world, we need to stop telling people what to do and showing people what to do. Because talk ain't nothing. Talk ain't nothing. The next time people try to train you, ask them to see their numbers. I say that respectfully. But how's anybody going to teach me how to have PRV and they're not booking parties, or teach me how to sponsor and they haven't sponsored in 6 months? I say that respectfully, but I don't want to learn from anybody unless I see their numbers first, because I want to know that what you're teaching me, that you got proof to back that up with. Respectfully, I say that with a lot of love. You cannot lead and teach if you're not doing it. You can't do it. And if you are doing it, it's leading in vain. That is if you are telling your team to sponsor and you haven't sponsored in 6 months, you are leading in vain. And that is my biggest pet peeve in this business. I do not like that. We don't lead in vain here. We do, and then we show. We do, and then we show. Okay. I love y'all. If y'all have nothing else, February is about to be lit. I am so excited. I'm so excited. So shock yourself this month. Set a goal and then shock yourself. Hit it, but then shock yourself and push yourself. You can do so much more than you think you can do. You can do so much more than you think you can do. So I love y'all. Let me stop the recording before I exit it, because that would be a horrible. Oh, Ani, is Ani on? I need her permission. I think I accidentally made her the host, so it's not letting me.
You know, she
Hey,
has
I did good.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that.
Anya,
I had to
not
say
be the
those
host.
are like the participants. You should be able to give the host back to Katie.
Oh, it says you are requesting to record this meeting. Hold on, Katie. Okay, let me allow you to do that. You're welcome.
It should have already been
Okay.
recording.
So now I click on Katie to make her the host. Yes, there we
I
go.
think So right, Sylvia? Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay.